Hi everyone, today we're taking a look at the Mezco 1/12 collective Bartholomew Vex. This character is the villain for Atticus Doom, who's one of my absolute favorite figures, so I'm pretty excited to have Bartholomew. I liked Atticus Doom so much I got both the original version and the Necroverse, so I was looking forward to having a villain for him as well. First we'll take a look at the details, some of which might be a little difficult to see since he's a bit dark, but we'll try our best. So this is just the head that comes on him in the package. There are a few others. I think this is really well done. Initially from the promo pictures I thought maybe the head would just be cast in plain dark gray or black plastic with not much paint or anything. But having it in hand, it looks like it's cast in a dark grayish, bluish color, and then over top of that there's a black wash to help bring out some of the details. So that's really nice. The horns are a glossy black and the eyes are glossy as well, so there's some nice contrast and finishes going on there. The wash continues down onto the neck as well. Like most Mezco figures, he's got soft goods. Being all black fabric though, he does kind of attract dust and pet hair, but I suppose that's to be expected. I do like his coat. The buttons are nice on there, no issues with those. It has some pockets on the side here, but they're not functional, they're just little flaps. For the vest, none of these pockets are functional either. I enjoy the look of the tie. I don't know the exact style of it, but it's more like the old-timey, twisted look. For his shirt, it does come out a little bit, so he's got a little bit of shirt poof coming over the hands. He's got his little pilgrim pants. The socks are sewn to the bottom of the pants here. Sometimes when the knees are bent and it stretches the fabric out, it does look a little bit odd, but I don't think it's too bad, and once I have him posed, it hasn't really bothered me at all. I think the effect is a little bit better when he's just standing upright and the pants can kind of drape over top of that sock a little bit, but yeah, once the knees bent, it kind of ruins that effect a bit. I think these shoes are actually really nice. It's got a buckle on the front with some gold details, and then on the bottom it's got little studs sculpted on there, and those are all painted as well. For the hands, he's got those little furry goat hands. The nails are glossy on those, and on his left hand he has a couple of rings. Not a lot going on the back of the figure. Overall, I like the look of him. It is a bit monochromatic, so not a ton to show off here. I do think the soft goods are done pretty well. There is a wire running on the bottom of the jacket here. I kind of wish it had also come up the front of the jacket so you could get it a little more windswept for poses. Right now you can kind of just pose it that way, which isn't terrible, but just comparing it to Atticus Doom's, he had a wire coming all the way up the front, so it's a little bit more posability there. On to the accessories, he comes with two alternate goat heads, one yelling face, and with this one the ears are swept back compared to this one where they're drooped down a bit. And I think they did a good job on this. The brows furrowed, he looks a bit angry. I feel like sometimes yelling faces, it's just the same sculpt with the mouth open, so I like that this one has some things differentiating it. He also has a laughing face. I think this one's really fun. He's got the squinted eyes, the ears are flooped up and forward even more. So yeah, that one's really well done. I like that a lot. Sticking with the heads, he also comes with a vulture head and neck. I think this is really well done as well. It's painted very nicely. The whole thing's glossy. I maybe would have preferred a matte finish, but I probably won't display him with the vulture head much just because I really like the goat look, but this is a nice option. And for the last head, he comes with this unholy amalgamation. It's the vulture head, but has some tendrils coming out of it. It's like a little eyeball there. Looks a bit grotesque. I like this one a lot. I think this is really cool. This one will be fun to get some photos of, maybe. Again, I don't know that I would display it with this all the time just because I really like the goat heads, but a very cool option. I do like all the like gross little tendril details in there. It also has a little vulture neck floof to go with the head. And to swap those, the whole neck just pops off. Sometimes it'll even pop off when you're going to change the heads or when articulating the neck. We'll get to that in a bit. And then pop on his collar. I do feel like the little vulture collar poof, it's a little bit fiddly to get in place just because he has the collar of the jacket there. I've tried it both under the jacket and over the jacket. I think it works alright. I think it's just maybe not my preferred look, but it does look pretty cool. So if you want a little vulture in a suit, that's a good option as well. For hands, on the figure in the package, he just comes with these two slightly open hands. He comes with two of these more relaxed hands. They're a bit more open and just kind of neutral posed. He comes with two gripping hands to hold the accessories, an even more splayed open hand, and a pointing hand. The pointing hand is a right hand, no rings on that one. The more splayed open hand is a left hand that has the rings on it. And then last for hands, a morphing tendril hand to go with the vulture head. This one also has the rings on it. And this is also done very well. Enjoy the tendrils a lot here. Some little bobbles and lumpy spots. Sort of variation in texture going on, which is nice. And the rings on all the ring hands are done very well. They're painted all the way around. So for those gripping hands, you need some things to grip. First, he's got this wand or scepter of sorts. It also has the tendrily look and eyes on either side and kind of a translucent stalk for him to hold. I feel like this and the tendril head and hand give me like Bloodborne vibes. Just the weird nature of them and like not knowing exactly what this is supposed to be. Like it's kind of reminiscent of a bird. It's cool though. For that there is an effect that can snap on the top. It only goes on one way. I do like that it has some purple paint on the edges, and I think overall it's sculpted pretty well. Maybe the only downside for me is that it's a more opaque plastic, so it looks a little more like a plastic sculpted effect. I think the translucent effect parts tend to read a little bit better, for me at least. It comes with this hand. It's on, looks like there's kind of like some twine tied around the bones coming out of the hand, and then there's a couple eyes on the end there. This is just like in a brown kind of rubbery soft plastic, and it has a wash over it to bring out kind of the wrinkly details of this desiccated hand. It comes with this knife. The blade looks kind of like maybe it's bone or something, and it's a nice wash on it. And then for the handle, it's a lot of little sculpted details, and it has a small dot of yellow paint in there. And he holds this well in the gripping hand. He has a bottle with some text on there that's going to be rather difficult to read, but it has a 666 number 13. Not entirely sure what the text below that says, but then skull and crossbones. At the top it's got a goat head with a pentagram on it. This is done in a translucent plastic. It looks pretty nice. None of the hands are really splayed open enough to get a great grip on the bottle. The ones on the package maybe, but they're kind of, it's not like a perfect fit. And the gripping hands, you can kind of wedge the top of the bottle in there. That kind of works. It comes with a goblet. There's some green painted details on there, and then in the top it looks like it's filled with red liquid, and this can fit in that more splayed open hand. So you can have him holding the goblet. It'll also fit in these slightly less splayed open hands. It's going to be a tighter fit and not quite contour around it as much. That could be an option as well if you didn't want it in the hand with the rings. Back to effect pieces. Comes with this star, and this has a magnet on it. All of the goat heads have a magnet in them as well, so that will just stick right to the head. I think that looks pretty neat. This one also has some little peg holes on the back, so I believe you can put one of the hands in it. So for the hands that came on him in the package, there are 4 holes here. They're kind of hard to see, but the fingers can just slip in those holes, and you can have him blasting the star out of his hand like that. That's a cool option as well. And then his final effect part, I saw this one on the thumbnail and at the beginning. This one's my favorite. It's this purple goat head with flames. There's an eye in the center of the goat's forehead. This is painted really nicely. It's lighter on the edges and more purple in the center. I just think this is really cool. And this also has a magnet on the top, so you can just pop down the top of the head, or on top of any of the heads. Oop. And it kind of contours to the horns. Some of the horns a little bit better than others. I feel like it fits the most snug on the yelling head, but it's not a bad fit on the other ones. There's just a little bit more wiggle room there. But it's a magnet, so it'll work for all of them. And he comes with a slug bag. I love this. This is wonderful. It's painted really well. The eye stalks, they're a soft rubbery plastic, so those could be mushed around. The bag opens up, and you can store all the other accessories in there. Maybe not all of them. The bag itself has a bit of a wash over it to bring out some of these wrinkly leather details, and each of the four corners is painted brown with a black outline and little brass studs. So I think this looks really cool. I like this a lot. It does have like a line going down around the edge on the bottom, not super noticeable. You can hold the bag. This is also pretty big, bigger than I expected. I was excited for it in the promo pictures, but seeing it in person, this is a big slug. Look at that boy. I mean, the slug value here is just out of control. Fantastic. Love this. If you have a little plunderling hatchling, you can put him in the slug bag, little slug bag mount. And finally, he comes with a display stand with his name on it in red, some horns. I really like Mezco display stands. These are maybe my favorite, especially for having characters in flying poses or up in the air, just because they have very sturdy arms. I think they're better stands if you want to just hold a figure closer to the ground. It comes with a little peg in here that you can peg his foot into, but you can just pop that out. And then also a little Ziploc baggie if you want to put the accessories in there. Now on to articulation. The head is on a ball peg, and the neck is on a ball peg as well. Since the neck is able to be swapped out, at the edges of the articulation's limit, it will pop out if you go a little bit too far. Looking up, you can look up this much. You can look down this much. The head tilts side to side. I always enjoy a double ball pegged head and neck joint, just because you can get all sorts of little nuanced poses and really put the head just however you want. For the arms, I'm always a little bit careful with posing arms on figures with soft goods, just because you can't immediately see how the arm is positioned out of the package, and if you just go cranking on the joint, you can definitely run the risk of breaking something. So always something to look out for the first time you pose a figure like this out of the package. The arms move up this much, they go all the way out to the side. Of course, you can't rotate them all the way around because they're bound by cloth there. He has double jointed elbows, which are actually really good. You can bend those all the way. The wrist is on a ball hinge, so you can position the hand however you want. For the torso, I believe it's a ball peg at the torso and then one at the waist. So we'll just bend them all together. I won't try to do them each separately. So all together, he can bend forward that much and back that much. Can lean side to side a bit and rotate a bit. Again, not all the way around. For the legs, the hips go out almost all the way. I don't think you're going to need them to go out further than that. Anyway, again, those are a little limited by the crotch of the pants. The left leg on mine is a little bit looser than I would like. It's not like floppy yet, but it does feel a little bit loose. Right leg feels pretty good though. Double jointed knee that also folds all the way up. Great knee and elbow articulation on this guy. There is a thigh swivel. And then probably the worst part of the figure is the ankle articulation. I feel like this is usually not the best point of articulation for Mezco figures. So the foot goes back that much, forward that much, and then this foot has some ankle rocker. It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. This foot's like kind of loose, and the joint just feels like mushy. It can go out that way, but it won't really go in. I've heated it up. I might need to heat it up again. This one just feels bad to use. It just feels like gummy and like something's gonna tear. It's just a very unsatisfying foot to pose. The left foot in particular, the worst part of the figure for me. Hopefully if you get it, yours is fine. It's not going to be doing crazy foot poses. He is a goat in a pilgrim outfit, so maybe he doesn't really need that. I think one thing he has going for him, seems to be more like a spellcaster type, so it lends to levitating on the stand. I'll probably have him displayed on the stand most of the time, and won't have to worry about the feet and this unsatisfying ankle. But if that's going to bother you, for size and comparisons, he's standing at about 6 3/4 to the top of the head and closer to 7 inches to the top of the horns, like 6 7/8. Here he is with the Mezco Atticus Doom and Union Gomez. Here he is with Atticus Doom Necroverse Edition and Thousand Toys Hellboy. Here he is with Veteran William in the 1800s London soft goods add-on set, and the Noda Toyz Wukong. If you want to see how he would look in a spooky display, here he is with the NECA Ghostface takes Manhattan Ghostface and 4 Horsemen Figura Obscura Mask of the Red Death. And finally, for a domestic 6-inch figure, here's the Marvel Legends Black Suit Spider-Man, and then just for another anthropomorphic animal, the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Lexion. So overall, I really like this figure. Really, the only downside for me is the ankles not being great, and the one feeling like weird and gummy. It's not a deal breaker for me though, because I know I'm probably going to display him in some sort of flying or levitating pose, doing like a spell or something, and I think you can still get some fun poses out of him, even with the ankle limitations. So if you like the look of this figure, I would recommend it, but it is sold out on Mezco's website right now. You can join the waitlist, which you won't be charged to join the waitlist unless they do get some more stock and it converts, at which point you would be able to get it, but it's not guaranteed. I think if you're interested in it, maybe hop on the waitlist, see if maybe they end up getting some more in. It's always hard to tell with Mezco though. Otherwise, there'll probably be people selling him. There's some Facebook groups you can look into. It's usually over retail, but sometimes have decent prices. I do really enjoy this figure though, so if you can get it and you like the way it looks, then yeah, I recommend it. I wouldn't be surprised if they do another version of this figure though, like they did with Atticus Doom and a lot of the other Rumble Society figures. I like him enough that I'll be tempted to get another version if they end up doing a Necroverse edition or something else. So hopefully this helped you with your decision if you were debating on it. So let me know in the comments below, is this a figure you bought? Are you looking to pick it up later? Are you interested in a second version if they make one? And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.